That's a tough question. I think it really comes down to like you got to. It's a multiple of facets. There's obviously the revenue, the KPIs that you're looking for, right? That's one measure that people tend to focus on. And data. What I love about data is it doesn't lie, it doesn't have feelings, it doesn't have emotions. It's just pure information, and it's an indicator of potential success, right? What we don't see though is the underlying, and this is where I think most people lose sight of this is that people are the company. It's the people are the ones that generate the revenue. The people are the ones that have to deal with the problems. People have to go out and have the conversations. It's people talking to other people. And when it's always about the revenue or about the company or a brand, I think CEOs or leaders tend to miss out on what makes a company, which is the people. And I've been blessed to now have crossed over a point in time as of last week where I have been now in a company longer than I was without a company. And
Hmm.
part of the reason why I've been here for Paul for so long is because of it's ran by people and they keep the people first. And I think it's a tight line on this where it's like 51% of it should be people facing and the other 49% is KPIs and all these other things. Because if you push too much on this piece of it, you will lose this piece of it, and it's people that are generating this. So it's a fine balance between do I want to focus more on just results or what's going on with the people, right? So you can have a great team. I've taken over a lot of teams in my career where there was a bad leader there before, and then I come in and it's focusing on the people. Guess what happens? The revenue and stuff and the progress and success tend to happen and follow suit, right? So it's kind of a chicken and an egg mentality. Don't get me wrong. Everyone has a responsibility for their shareholders, their stakeholders to deliver an ROI,
Yeah.
or a margin.
Yeah.
However, at what cost, right? And the one thing I've learned through being with as long as I have in a company that I've been with is watching that people when they buy a lot of mergers and acquisitions, people are not just buying your products or your solutions, they're also buying your leadership team and your people,
Yeah.
right? And if you got a leadership team that's older and potentially getting close to retire and you don't have a good succession plan for that, that's a risky proposition to pick up on that business, right? So CEOs and leaders as a whole, and I listen. One thing I think about this, I know you're focusing on CEOs, but we are all CEOs of our own life.
Yeah.
Like we are running our own life, right? You're the CEO of Graham Enterprises right now. I'm the CEO of Scholze Enterprises,
Yeah.
and there's people in our lives, right? So we're all CEOs, just a matter of are we at the top in a company? But we all have little mini companies that we're all running here for our lives, right? To all deliver good ROI, have a great experiences, retire, you name it, right? And that's we all have a responsibility to each other. And I think when leaders tend to listen more and be attentive to people, results tends to follow. I'll give you a perfect example of this. I just read an article last night about somebody where they were bragging about they just started with a new organization. They only got to work with this one person for 2 weeks.
Okay.
But they said this guy made so much like of an impact to her in two weeks. And then the way they celebrated this person made her go, this is the kind of company I want to work for. They
Yeah.
didn't talk about the money. They didn't talk about what they were earning. They talked about how people were treating other people. And I think the ROI is based on how you treat people. And you look at some of the greatest companies of all time, some of those people treat their people really well, and then their earnings go up, right? And it's the people that deliver the earnings. So I think that we got to keep in front and center. People
Hmm.
are our product, pure and simple. It's not what you sell. It's not your brand name. Your company, your product is your people.